Hey, Bridget.
Hi, Josh.
It's really good to see you behind a microphone today. How much longer are you in Colorado resident?
8 days.
8 days. So Reverend Bridget McCann, who I'm speaking with today, has had the shortest official tenure of a Mile High minister ever, I think 3 months. You joined us as a special focus minister. We knew that you were on to leadership within our greater organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, and a very smart church in Portland, Oregon, signed you to a letter of call to be their senior minister.
They did, which I'm very excited about. And I start there early June. Yeah. I just didn't think it would be this quick that I would be in and out of Mile High, but it happened faster than I think any of us anticipated.
Yeah, and we all knew it was coming, and yet, your ministerial journey so far, I don't think we would say that this has happened super fast, that deep development of yes, and, to back up your story as I know it, and you can clarify it for me, as you were a very successful attorney. You got involved in some of the spirituality stuff. I'd like to hear how that happened, and eventually, that turned into a call to become a minister. And I'd love to hear a little bit about how all that happened.
So, do you mean how, as an attorney, I became involved in general on the spiritual path? Is that?
Well, I think that, minister's a funny word, isn't it? What does it really mean? But at some point, I think it means that we've embodied service towards the uplifting of people's hearts and souls more than anything else. And that's what I'm interested in, is that journey that's got you to where you are today, owning or being willing to be seen as a minister, as a inspirer of hearts.
Okay. So, yes, I was working as an attorney with my own practice and working mostly with immigrants and refugees, which was very fulfilling, very heart-based work. It allowed me to use my skills and intellect as an attorney and my court skills on behalf of people who really needed it to transform their lives. But it was also a type of legal work that allowed me to bring that heart to my work. And I was doing that for several years and was quite happy with that. And at the same time, I had been involved in spiritual practices here at Mile High Church for many years and had developed a meditation and prayer practice. And at some point, I just kind of started feeling like maybe there was something different for me, a different way to serve, or I didn't know exactly what it would be. And it came to me that, well, this is how I put it in my own heart and mind, is I didn't want to die without dancing my dance. Or sometimes you hear people say they, don't die with your song still in you. And so for a long time, my meditation and prayer work was around discovering what that is. I guess my life's purpose, my life's calling. It just kept feeling like, yeah, I'm doing something really great now, but there's something else. And so after quite a while of being open to hearing what that was to be for me, during a meditation, I received a call to ministry, and I immediately started to cry because I knew it was the answer to my prayer, and at the same time, I didn't want to do it. I've had too much schooling already in my life, was my thought, but I cried for a few days because I knew it was a calling, and I knew it was the answer to my prayer, and I knew it was genuine. So after some time and some consulting with trusted spiritual advisors and mentors, I surrendered to it. And that was the start of the surrendering. And here I am about 5 years later, 6 years later, going to Portland to be their minister, which I'm absolutely thrilled about.
Yeah, we're thrilled for you as well, although we wish we could keep you closer by. But I love that idea of dancing the dance and, hearing about those tears. For me, I'll always remember a discussion with Dr. Roger, guest speaking here, and him sharing with me his, vision for a lead minister at Mile High that wasn't him and all of this stuff. And I remember I went to my hotel room. It was a different type of calling, and wept. And I just cried. And it didn't have anything to do with Mile High or moving to Colorado. But the message for me in that is that everything that was before was done. The ministry that I was getting to do in Seal Beach was complete because there was this call to immense growth. But it was sad for me because it meant letting go of what was. And so, I'm interested in those tears a little bit, if they had to do with letting go of what was, or of, the excitement or even the realization of the path ahead of you to dance this dance.
The tears at first were tears of resistance and just tears of, I don't have the time, the money, the energy to do this. And I already have so much formal education. I was like, seriously, the last thing I need is another degree. So, and it was just so unexpected. I mean, I had never thought about being a minister. My only prayer had been to discover what that dance is. And so the tears were part, that's going to be too hard, I'm not doing that, and part shock. And then, and resistance, and thinking it would be too difficult. So I did cry for a few days, but in those intervening months before I surrendered to it, and I was sitting with it and contemplating, am I going to do this? Am I going to say yes? Reverend Carol Wilkie, I heard her speak, I think on a Wednesday evening. And I honestly don't remember what the message was that night, except for one line. And she said, it's a calling if it makes you cry. So then I started crying again because I'm like, oh, darn it, I think she's right. So that really struck me and stayed with me. And then after sitting with this for a few months and being in meditation again, I had decided, in part of that intervening months was also the ego part of me or the brain part of me trying to tell myself that it wasn't a real calling. Because I kept asking myself, is this a real calling or just a harebrained idea?
This bullshit.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the question to myself was, is this really a calling or just some harebrained idea? Mm-hmm. But my heart knew it wasn't just some harebrained idea. So I cried again when I surrendered, but that time it was tears of release and surrender and joy. Yeah.
Frederick Buechner talks about, if you want to listen to where God is speaking to you in your life, watch out for your unexpected tears, watching a movie or receiving a calling. And so, I think there is something powerful about how the wordless can speak to us in prayer, in tears, and how sometimes they even tell our future. They're fortune tellers in a way too. You're a new minister, but this call to Portland, although it seems like it's come together really easy, is also a culmination of kind of figuring things out and finding your way with the license. And I'm just interested what feels different, if anything at all, now that it's been aligned to this spiritual community, because certainly you're both demonstrations for one another.
I guess I'm going to ask you to restate that. Could you say that again, please, Josh?
The lawyer's coming out.
No, I'm not quite understanding what you're going for.
So moving from getting that license as a minister and passing the panels and passing the testing to this point of saying yes to a work in a geographic location. It's both. There's something about it for me, knowing your path a little bit, that it feels like a beginning. It's the end of part of this journey,
Yeah.
and now this beginning of a new one. And so, that's really the question, is now that a relationship, has started, how does ministry feel different, if at all?
Well, it does feel different in a few ways. Throughout ministerial school and training and preparation, I didn't know where ministry would take me. And then there was a point when I thought I knew where it would take me, and that didn't happen. And so I was licensed in December of 2022, and for quite some time after that, I thought I was being open to the possibilities, and I thought I knew where this path was taking me, and that didn't work out, as you know, and I won't go into it here other than to say that it was heartbreaking and disappointing, and there were a lot more tears again. And after moving through that and deciding to truly be open to where this path takes me, has culminated in this new relationship with Portland Center for Spiritual Living, and them choosing me and me choosing them. And soon, when I'm actually there making actual commitments to each other, it does feel different. I think it's that milestone of having found a community to serve and to work with and to grow with that feels really good and really right and exciting. And I keep hearing from them how they are so thrilled to have found me, but I try to remind them that goes both ways. I'm just as thrilled to have found them. And there's something about that. There's been a shift in me, an inner shift about knowing who my community is now and knowing I'm making a commitment to them and what that means. And that working relationship and that heart connection going forward, it does feel different. There's a shift. I'm trying to find a few words to describe the inner change. I want to say it feels like I arrived at where I'm supposed to be, but at the same time, I know it's really a beginning of a journey. Mm-hmm. So maybe it is, I forget the word you use, but
beginning.
Beginning, yeah. It feels like I've arrived and I'm just beginning at the same time.
Wow. I think there's a T.S. Eliot quote that says that it's all about arriving, to where we started in so many different ways. That happens over and over again. But I love hearing that, that the relationship with Portland CSL at some level is born out of a true openness, being truly open. I'm sure it's true for them, and you being a demonstration for them as well. But what a beautiful way to do relationship. And I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I remember early in my ministry taking a job as an assistant minister with a senior minister who was a wonderful person, and told me that they were considering retirement. And so, the jewel was go over and, hang out and work here for a while, and then you can take over the senior job. But I think what this person really needed was a good, strong assistant minister, because I was there about 5 minutes, and I think the desire to retire went away. And I always called it a spiritual sleight of hand because I wouldn't have taken that job if, because of egotistical BS reasons within myself. If it was just to be an assistant, there had to be this pathway. And yet at that time in my ministry, it was just what I needed to get myself together, learn to take care of myself better, form important skills. And, for the people that are listening to this, to hear, the importance of dancing that dance, the importance when, we don't know how the dance is going to look, to be open to it, to trust the divine to speak to us through those tears of calling, and to realize, it's, we all get to make our own story with this, whether it's ministry or service or whatever it is in people's lives, to follow through. And there are parts of the path that can be painful and confusing and uncertain. But if we stay open, stay truly open, it's amazing what can demonstrate itself.
Yes, in the pain and the confusing part and the heartbreak I experienced along this path, I look back at it now, and I needed that experience. I don't think I would be as prepared and in some way as confident as I feel doing this without having had that heartbreaking experience that didn't work out. Somehow, it really did just open me up to the possibilities. And I feel much better prepared and able to give a full-bodied and a full-hearted and yet fully open yes to the people of Portland CSL than I would have been probably a year ago.
It's as if you've been fully initiated for
Yes.
the call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Bridget, just on behalf of Mile High Church and all of the lives that you've touched here and supported, all the different ways that you've served here, we're always your home. You're always a part of us. And as you expand your geography, just know how grateful we are for you and what a demonstration you've been for so many of us here. And so we love you. We are with you. You take the light that you discovered and cultivated here with you there. And we're just so grateful for you and so excited to support you and your community however we can in realizing your brilliance.
Thank you, Josh. And thank you to you and Dr. Michelle for giving me the opportunity to serve here. And my gratitude to Mile High is just immense. From when I first walked in here in 2008, took Beyond Limits with Dr. Roger all the way through ministerial school. And it's been an incredible journey. And I'm immensely grateful to many, many, many people here. Thank you.
And is there any way people can follow you? Or I'm sure they can look up Portland Center for Spiritual Living on Google and find you there.
They can, portlandcsl.org.
Oh, she already knows the website.
It's not hard. It's not difficult. portlandcsl.org. And at some point, I'm sure I'll have a Portland CSL email, but I don't yet have that.
Awesome. Nice talking with you, Bridget.
Thank you, Josh.
Did we do okay, Bobby?
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To hear your story.
Oh,